Hey guys, it's Scott with Scotty B Cards, and in this video I have a PSA return that I want to share with you. So I sent this PSA order out in March of 2021. In hindsight, I would have sent out a lot more cards than what I sent because I think it was $20 instead of what it is now, $100 per card. And I got it back in 9 months, and I had a lot more cards in similar condition to these that I weren't sure if they would grade quite well enough. That probably would have. But I just want to share what I got with you, and I want to share what I expected and to show kind of where their grading and thought process was. I'll also show like my percentages, and I'll show the dollar value of what it's worth as well. So the very first card that I did send in was this Mookie Betts 2014 Topps Update. And I would not have graded this as if it was a card I had purchased. The reason being is on the bottom left corner, there's a tiny ding. Really hard to pick up on the actual camera, but it is there. And you can see my prediction for this card was a 9. And I think that was a very fair grade. So I think it is what it is. I thought I had an outside chance at a 10, but I still submitted it just because I pulled this one myself out of a fat pack, a retail pack. And so for me, it had sentimental value. Mookie at the time was worth more than he is now, and it was just worth it. So that one got a 9, not worth a ton of money right now, but I would expect them to go back up as the season gets closer. And I think Mookie will have a really good year this next year as he's recovered from his hip injury. The second card I sent in, this is actually one of the cards that got me back into collecting. This is a Nolan Arenado Topps Chrome X-Fractor. And you might ask, why would I have submitted this with that huge print line right across the middle? And it's because the rest of the card looked almost flawless. So I've seen cards with print lines. This isn't a print line. Print lines run up and down. This is a X-Fractor line, an actual refractor line that runs through the entire card. It's just the way the pattern works. Once that sheet ends, it has to start somewhere, and it started on this card. So I had this still have a chance at a 10 because I've actually had, if you watch my recent videos, my previous ones, that it actually got a 10. Card similar to this one. But this line is so strong that it did pull a 9, which is too bad. It loses a lot of value, and it's a really gorgeous card. But regardless, I predicted it to be a 9 with an outside chance at a 10. The majority of these cards I thought were borderline 9 or 10. So that's what I basically expected for all of them, which includes this card. This is a Francisco Lindor. This is a Topps Chrome short print. These are true short prints. It's not labeled on the card itself, but they're true short prints that were introduced into Topps Chrome. Lindor, Correa, Buxton, Gallo, and Noah Syndergaard all had short prints in 2015 Topps Chrome, which I actually like. I wish they did that more often for the big rookies. And for that, last time I checked, there were about 250 of these graded as a PSA 10. Which mine was one of them. So I am really happy with that card because these are very rare. And Lindor, I know his stock is low right now, but if he has a good year in New York, it will go right back up. He's still young enough where he can bounce back. He's not too old where, you know, if he's 31 and had that year, it'd be a lot tougher than where he was 27 and had that year. This card, I predicted it to be a 9 as well, but I thought I had a good chance at a 10. It did get a 10, and in my defense, when I look these cards over, I predict the grades. The surface of the card was perfect. These actual marks are inside of the case, which sucks, but the surface of the card was essentially perfect. What I saw, the first time I reviewed it, I missed it, but what I saw the second time is this corner has a tiny edge issue. I can't even really pick it up, I don't think, on camera. But regardless, I wasn't quite sure it was worth grading at the time because of that, but this card just sold for $300, so I'm glad I did in a PSA 10. And I think the grade is justified because the rest of the card is perfect and it's such a minor ding. Now we have another Lindor. This one I predicted to be a 7. And in hindsight, that was a very optimistic prediction because if you look right there, see that edge? You can see the top behind my finger, there's some whitening. On the bottom, there's some whitening. On the back, look at that corner. I don't know why PSA just didn't push that down. It at least would have presented better. Cool thing about this card is it's 1 of 64. So if you're into eBay 101s, that's what this is. But it ended up getting a 7 like I predicted. So I have a Mookie Betts Black 2014 Topps Update rookie. That's a 7 that looks so much better than this that I sent in. I don't get why it's a 7. I might have to resend it if it gets cheap enough to do so again. But anyways, it's still a good looking card. Lindor, again, his stock has dropped, but this got the grade I expected. If it would have been a 6 or 5, that would have been a lot uglier. I think people are getting more and more accustomed to cards of value being a 5, 6, a 7 or an 8. versus back in the day, if you didn't have it in a 10, then if it was in a 9 case, you were losing so much value. So it is what it is. I'm happy with it. It's good to have a PC card actually encased like that. And you know the grade and the condition. If I ever wanted to sell it, it'd be a lot easier than trying to disclose all of these simple or major condition flaws. All right, 2 cards left. Next card up is a Fernando Tatis Jr. Bowman Chrome. This is one that I was the most confident in getting a 10. And that's not always how it works, but I was most confident in this card. But you can see up here on the left edge, there's a tiny mark, and you can see this surface scratch much more prominently than I remember. That scratch is the only flaw, really. And I wasn't sure how it would grade because of that scratch. It's not a print line, it's an actual surface mark. And I got this in a break, and at the time, a PSA 10 was going for $300, $400 back in February and March, and now they go for about $100, and the 9s were around $150, so there was like a no loss thing. I was going to sell this card to cover the entire order. If I show you the back, you can see it really is flawless essentially. But this card ended up getting a 10. So that little surface mark wasn't enough to mark it down, and I think it was the correct grade given because it was the only thing that was wrong with it, but you never know with the way PSA grades, it's slightly different, so I am happy with that card. And the last card of the submission, probably the most interesting one in the order, is a Trevor Story Real One autograph from Heritage. Heritage Real One autographs are some of the very best autographs in the entire card industry. And I know that sounds dramatic, and I don't mean it to be, but they are the very best rookie autographs besides Topps Chrome in my eyes. At least they're in the top 3 or 4 for a player. Maybe not like the Dynasty or the RPAs. I mean just for true autographs. And this one is a good looking card for Trevor Story, but overall it's tough to gem these cards because they're paper stock. They're tough to grade. Centering looked really good, but the back had some issues. By some issues, I mean they have small whitening. That mark on the card is actually a part of the card. But you can see that top right corner has a little bit of whitening, and then bottom right has a little bit of whitening. So I wasn't sure if this was going to be a 9 or a 10. And I sent it just because I wanted to take a risk, and I'm glad I did because it got a 10. Now he's not a Rocky anymore. I'll probably sell it eventually because he is going to be a free agent. I bet he signs with a good team. And once he does, if he has a good year, this will go up. So I expect this card to be a good flip for me. But the last PSA 10 did go for $200. So that is my small submission. I will say that overall, everything was either a 9 or a 10 in my eyes besides the Francisco Lindor Black. And I got 3 10s and 2 9s. So I think it was accurate. So you can make an argument for any card on any given day to be graded a certain way. I'm just glad I got these ones back. I'm surprised they got back this fast, which is kind of sad to say since I sent it in March, but I am happy with what I got. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It will help this video go to more audiences. And if you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. We post content 2 to 3 times each and every week exclusively about baseball cards. Other than that, guys, let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with any of these grades, and I will see you in the next video.